Black man power, black woman power, black child power. It's King Leon X, the human liberator, KLX UBVOA. This is episode 41 of Take Charge of Your Life. Take charge of your mind, take charge of your day, take charge of your mental attitude. This is my midday self-mastery, self-motivation series. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. This is actually the 7th or 8th city that Take Charge of Your Life has been shot, okay, in the 4th or 5th state. But anyway, what we talk about this week is self-discipline. All right, prior episodes this week, we were talking about areas in which one must exercise self-discipline. We covered 8 areas. We identify self-discipline as a fundamental key to wealth. It's the number one key to success. All success principles are null and void if one does not have the self-discipline to master their emotions, to master their appetite, and master their inclinations. You see, self-discipline is one of the 12 types of enduring riches. Self-discipline, doing what you know that needs to be done when it needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Self-discipline, mastering the mastery of the negative habits that stand in the way of your success. Self-discipline, the development and unfoldment and execution of new habits. What was that? Yup. Okay, my phone is tripping. All right, cool. Self-discipline. And so this video, what we talking about today in episode 41, we're going to talk about why self-discipline is so important. Why self-discipline is the top ranking feature of all religions. Without self-discipline, you will forever be a wandering generality. Without self-discipline, you will forever continue to experience frustration. Without self-discipline, you will always experience discouragement, fear, worry. Without self-discipline, you might even experience ill health. You can never calm down your mental chatter. Peace of mind is impossible without self-discipline. Wisdom to understand people is impossible without self-discipline, without mastery of the tongue. The habit, developing the habit of listening first and then speaking after you're sure what you say will benefit you and not injure others. Without self-discipline, you will drive away friends. Without self-discipline, you will manifest disease within your body, family. Without self-discipline, you will forever be engaged in a labor that's disharmonious with your purpose. Without self-discipline, you will never develop sufficient confidence to become your greatest version. Okay, so what we're talking about today is why self-discipline is so important. And you're welcome, Queen. You're welcome for this topic. I see you in the comments. So, self-discipline. The mastery of the habits that stand in the way of your success. Doing what you know that needs to be done when it needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Self-discipline. Self-discipline is the only means in which you could transmute means change, sorrow into faith. The only way that you could turn sorrow into faith is through self-discipline. Self-discipline is the only means where you could turn hatred into sympathy, where you could turn hatred into compassion. Self-discipline is the only thing that will allow you to profit from adversity, for you to profit by transmuting the seed of equivalent benefit which comes with every defeat. Within every setback, or what appears to be setback, contains the seed of equivalent benefit. Without self-discipline, you can't train your mind and master your emotions to search for that seed of equivalent benefit so you can profit from adversity. Self-discipline is so important because it's the only means by which we could remove from our mind past experiences of suffering. Did you know that you could remove from your mind past experiences of suffering and unpleasantness and replace in your mind thoughts that are more harmonious with your definite major purpose and your highest good? Only by self-discipline are you able to do such a thing. Only by self-discipline are you able to implement such a tactic. Only through self-discipline are you able to implement such a strategy and a process. Only through self-discipline are you able to institute these new philosophies and concepts into your life. Self-discipline. Self-discipline is the only means which we can discover our highest self, our other self, which we carry with us all day. Through self-discipline, that's the only way. Self-discipline, another word for self-discipline, is self-mastery. Through self-discipline, you could learn more about your highest self, that part of you that has a great capacity for belief, and that does not give up, and it does not recognize failure, and which does not recognize defeat. Only through self-discipline can you cultivate your relationship with higher intelligence, with infinite intelligence. Only through self-discipline can you become a vessel for infinite cosmic potential to be manifested in whatever form you choose. Only through self-discipline can you turn your ideas into physical things. Only through self-discipline can you master the habits that stand in the way of your success. Self-discipline, family. Discipline. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. Discipline. Discipline is the bridge. Discipline is the bridge. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments, family. All right? So, knowing this, right? You're staying on this whole topic of self-discipline throughout the day. Throughout all day, this week, we still talking about discipline. I was actually just listening to audiobook, The Art of No Excuses by Brian Tracy, right? People call Brian Tracy the most disciplined man on the planet, which is crazy to be called that. Anyway, through self-discipline is the only thing that can give us freedom from fear and freedom from death, freedom from the fear of death through self-discipline. Through self-discipline is the only way that you're able to live and examine life and understand the flow of things. The one unitary process. There's no inner world and outer world. Process is one world, one unitary world. There's no outer process, inner process. Is one unitary process. The inner expressing itself as the outer, and also interpreting the outer as the inner. It's just a continuous reflection of each other. So there's nothing that exists on the outside. There's nothing that exists in the physical realm that did not come through thought first. Did not come through the realm of thought and imagination, which then had to be harnessed with pure iron will, energy manipulated to transmute that into a physical thing. We could turn all of our ideas, all of our goals and dreams into physical things if we understand the process. And if we engage in particular, strategic, definite activities, deliberate activities to get us deliberate results. Self-discipline. Mastering the negative habits that stand in the way of your success. Through self-discipline, you could free yourself from the desire of hypochondria. This is what Napoleon Hill says. He says, the fear of imaginary illness. Most people go around their whole life being fearful and worried of imaginary illnesses and imaginary things that could possibly happen to them that never will. They never will. Thank you for your wise words and motivation. Yeah, no doubt. Ashley, I see you in the comments. I appreciate you tuning in. This episode 41. This is my published. This is what I do. This is what I do on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, to make sure that the people are getting some thought-provoking content that, if they internalize it and truly examine the words that I'm saying and the principles and the philosophies that I'm bringing forth, it will measurably increase the quality of your life, 100% guaranteed. So I appreciate you for tuning in. And I appreciate all the viewers who's going to watch this later who wasn't able to watch it live. But self-discipline, this is what we're talking about today. This is what we've been talking about all week. We've been talking about self-discipline. We've been talking about, man, how do we begin to master the habits that stand in the way of our success? How do we begin to master the emotions of sex? How do we begin to master the emotions of fear? How do we begin to master the emotions of hate? How do we begin to master the emotions of love? How do we begin to master our internal process and put focus, deliberate intention, and attention on the desired results? How do we do that? LA. So obviously y'all hear the music playing in the background. I'm about to interrupt because I haven't heard this beat in a long time. I wrote something for this beat like a couple years ago. I'm about to just spit the little bars that I remember, and I'm picking back up on self-discipline. I don't know if y'all can hear the beat, but I'm like, knowledge is the new money. I'm far from broke. I took charge of my life because there's no hope in the vote. I picked up. Wait, hold on. I ain't spit this joint in some years. Hold on. It's crazy because I said I took charge of my life in that bar, and this is a Take Charge of Your Life series. But hold on. I got y'all. Here we go. Let me see if I can remember this bar. Hold on. I said, knowledge is the new money. I'm far from broke. I took charge of my life because there's no hope in the vote. I picked up some books and put down the remote. Tapped into the treasure of ideas that the legends wrote. But I could still feel the rope on my throat. Still haunted by the smell of the boat. Black bodies float the Atlantic Ocean. Yo, matter of fact, hey, this video ain't about my bars. But the only reason that I spit those, even a little bit of that old song, is because how I started it. I said, I took charge of my life. I said, knowledge is the new money. I'm far from broke. I took charge of my life because there's no hope in the vote. I picked up some books and put down the remote. Tapped into the treasure of ideas that the legends wrote. You see? See, you might call it reading time, wish you could be bored. There's no time for boredom in my life, you see. When I pick up a book, I sit down, I take my time, I get still, I focus 100% of my energies on interpreting and examining the words that are written. This is my tapping into the treasure of ideas time. The tapping into the treasure of the wisdom of centuries. The treasures of ideas that the legends wrote. This is my time to tap into that. My daily process of that. You see? Because anyone who had the nerve to turn their ideas in words and get them published in a book is a legend. You're a legend to me. And you'll live forever because your literature will live forever. You see? And it was only through self-discipline did they develop the confidence to have the nerve to publish their words. Only through self-discipline did they even get word to word to word to line to sentence to paragraph, right? Which leads to multi-paragraphs, which leads to a page, which leads to another page, which leads to a book, which leads to multiple books, which leads to an entire library, you see. But it started with that first word. And it started with that desire, and it started with that discipline. It started with committing themselves to finish what they started, you see. Only through self-discipline will we really be able to experience the good life. That's the number one, that's the highest ranking skill of personal achievement, you see. The highest ranking skill of successful people, the number one thing that all successful people have in common is that they're willing to do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. To have what unsuccessful people will never have. And that is to do what they know must be done, when it must be done, whether they feel like it or not. You know what you need to do to take charge of your life, to get up out that rut, to get unstuck. But are you willing to put in that action though? Are you willing to put in that work? Are you ready to put in that study, that discipline though? I'm living proof of the payout. I got videos. I'm about to start releasing videos from when I was a young nigga, when I was out here wilding crazy, and you would not want me around your children back then. You see, you would not want, like, I was not the type of nigga that to be doing some take charge of your life videos. I'll tell you that. You see, but I know what deliberate, strategic processes that were implemented in my psyche, internal revolution, transformed from the center. My old self has died. I've been transformed. I've been born again. I'm living the resurrection. You see? And so we still talking about self-discipline. Let me see where my time at. Okay, ooh, 14:56. Okay, my shit's supposed to be 15 minutes anyway. Let me get these last points out. So yeah, we talk about self-discipline. Self-discipline. It's the only means by which we can think our own thoughts and live our own lives as we wish to live them, right? Remember, this is take charge of your life. This is take charge of your mind, take charge of your day, take charge of your mental attitude. Every single day I'm giving you thought-provoking strategies, concepts, ideas that you could implement, that you could examine, that you could study. If you want to be wealthy, study wealth. If you want to be happy, study happiness. If you want to be powerful, study power. If you want to be influential, study influence. Just like if you wanted to be a scientist, you would study science. Just like if you wanted to play the drums, you would learn or you would study drumming. Just like if you wanted to be a doctor, a neurosurgeon, you would study the brain and neurology. If you want to live the good life, study the good life. If you want to be financially independent, study financial independence. If you want harmony in your relationships, study harmony in relationships. If you want sound health, study sound health. You see? If you want more love and compassion in your life, study love and compassion. Develop the love and compassion consciousness. This is a simple strategy, family. If you want to be wealthy, study wealth. If you want to take charge of your life, study the people who've done. Has anyone ever took charge of their life? Has anyone started off worse than you and end up better than you could ever imagine? Start there, study them. What did they do? What did they think? What transformation did they have when they decided that their current situation, their current reality was no longer enough? When they decided to break those invisible chains and get out of their own way, what significant things happened inside of them? Study that. That's what I did. That's what I do. Think your own thoughts. Live your own life. Make sure that everything that you do is a product of your own thinking. And yeah, you'll change, and yeah, you'll grow, and yeah, you'll not always be the same, and that's okay. Nothing in the universe is the same. The earth isn't even in the same spot as it was when I started the video. My blood, none of my blood cells are in the same spot as it was when I started to think about the thought of saying that. Action, family. Activity. Productivity. Efficiency. Only through self-discipline are you able to fully become your greatest version. Fully develop mind, body, and spirit. Free yourself from self-imposed limitations, family. Only through self-discipline can you free yourself from self-imposed limitations. Trust me, family, your goals and dreams wouldn't be on your heart if you hadn't already been given the capacity, the skills, the tools, the resources to achieve these things. Do you have the nerve to be bold enough to say yes to your life? To say yes to your unfolding future? Do you have the nerve to be bold enough, to be hungry enough to go for it? That is the question. This was episode 41 of Take Charge of Your Life. Take charge of your mind, take charge of your day, your mental attitude. It's King Leon X, UBVOA. Something I said in this video touched you, make sure you share it. Alright? Catching me tomorrow. And if you're in Atlanta, hey, I'm in Atlanta for a few weeks. I'm about to be in New Orleans in February, like in a few more weeks. So it's like, hey, I'm around. I'm living out my goals and dreams. I'm living out a definite major purpose. I'm just here to make sure that y'all don't get left behind. Alright? Stay grateful.